So now I would love to talk a little bit about your professional journey and your background and experience. You are a very public representative of Pearls and the wonderful Pearls mission in our community, having been invited to several Milwaukee podcasts, IWL at Marquette, and Radio Milwaukee to discuss the organization and how Pearls serves Milwaukee's youth. How does being the face of such a well-known organization tie into your sense of self?
Well, number one, it's exhausting. I have had to do the active work of because of how much I value my work. I have had to actively work on practicing separating my work from myself because there is a whole lot of worth that I have found in my work, if that makes sense. And so I'm actively working to be able to be very specific about like what my work is versus who I am. Because I find that because I am the face and because I always have to feel like I'm on, it can be really, really stressful. And also like, it's very rare that I feel like I can let my hair down. And I feel like such a different weight of responsibility as a Black woman in this city. And also, feeling like you're standing, like there's so many others that are standing on your shoulders. And if you make a mistake, what does that mean for others? It's not fair, but it's the reality of us as a community. And so it's really challenging for me sometimes. And I say all that, and I love it. I feel such gratitude for the responsibility that I have that has been bestowed upon me to do this important work. And throughout my professional life, it has become so clear to me about how important it is to be authentically who I am. And now I feel like I fully understand who I am, what my purpose is, why I'm here, the value that I can add, and to be able to show up as that every single day. And that's what Pearls has allowed me to do. And so I find great value in that. And I'm thrilled to be able to be that model exemplar, because again, when we're able to have representation, and me as a president and CEO, and what that means for all the other girls and other young professionals out there who are looking to me, that means a lot to me, and I really don't take that lightly. So I find it to be incredibly demanding, but also valuable, important for my journey, and to also be at a space and time where I do have the opportunity and tools and resources to be able to elevate voices of those from populations that may not have, may not always be at the table and may not always be centered. Like now I can do that. And I find great responsibility, but also really great joy in that as well.
Absolutely. No, I'm glad you mentioned it coming from a place of gratitude, because that was one of the emotions when I started to like really get into our work at FGPM and making mentorship matches and getting those emails that say like, hey, because of this mentorship, I was able to get a job. Like the emotion that struck me the most was gratitude. Like, I am so grateful to be able to do this type of work. And it was very surprising to me. I was not emotionally prepared for how much joy there would be in this work. So I'm so glad to hear you mention that.
Oh, I love that for you too. Yeah. I mean, it's like, this is the gift that we have been given. And of course there are going to be challenges every day. But I know that there's impact, right? And when you know that you are making a difference in somebody's life, then you're like, I feel like it fuels you and it energizes you to keep doing it and keep fighting the fight, even when you're tired. I feel like I make that choice every single day to get up and do the work because I know that it matters. And so I will, do what I need to do to go on vacation and, and de-stress and, all of those things, and play with my puppy. Because those, I know I need to do what I need to do I think it's important for us to take care of ourselves. And I'm still working on it. I'm a work in progress, but to find those things that do help fill you back up, because it is a lot of work. it's demanding work. It can drain you. There's a lot that goes into advocating, right, for others and supporting others. But again, you find that joy and it keeps you going. And so I'm glad that you're able to experience that. And again, your work is so important. And I'm so excited to learn more about what you all are doing because of what I have done and experienced. I feel like it really aligns, right, with my purpose as well. So I'm really, really grateful for you.
Well, it certainly is amazing to have you here as a first generation professional yourself. As you know, first generation professionals of Milwaukee serves those students and young professionals who are first in their family, community, or similar group, because not all families are nuclear. People come to higher education or professional life in a variety of ways, avenues, happenstances, and everything like that. And we are trying to be there for everyone, no matter your path to any of that. So we define our mission very broadly, but in an interview with PBS Wisconsin, you spoke about your first generation college experience. Can you tell us a little bit about your educational path and young professionalism as a first generation professional?
Man, yes. It's hard because I had a lot of struggle. And also they made me who I am today. And I'm so grateful for them. I honestly, as a first generation college student at UW-Madison and graduating the top of my class from high school, Rufus King grad, go Generals, and feeling so prepared for college, and then going to college and having such, the kind of traditional culture shock, such challenge and struggle, not knowing what I didn't know, even though I felt like I knew a lot. I realized that being a first generation student, being a first generation graduate, being a first generation professional is so much more than merit, right? Like it's so much more than you have the academic accolades or you've, built these things. There's more nuance to that, and to navigate spaces that were not designed for you, to navigate spaces that are uncomfortable or unfamiliar, can have direct impact then on what your experience looks like. And so as I tried to navigate my first year of college, it was a struggle in trying to fit into these classrooms, these huge lecture halls, trying to, imposter syndrome kicks in, trying to understand what even some of the feelings are as I was trying to even understand my Black identity. Like there was so much that happened that really, made me not even want to continue. And that's why, again, you understand why many folks don't go through and finish college, because there's so many variables that can really negatively impact your experience. I'm very grateful for mentors, right? And having advisors that I could go to really help me understand, because I was blaming myself for a lot of like, why can't I do these things? Isn't this happening? And sure, there's some personal responsibility. Like there were some adjustments that I had to make, but I really was like, the navigational capital that I did not have, I was able to really lean on the support of mentors. And it was mentors within my college experience that led me to even trying to understand my experience and then how to make that different for those who came after me. And that's when I started getting involved in, advocacy work through our Black Student Union. I got involved in my sorority and wanted to be a part of the change, and, meeting with university officials and leadership, and like trying to, again, be a voice and advocate for other students like me. And that's what led me to the career path, right, that I have been on for the past 15 plus years, almost 20 years. Oh, my Lord. And and then also, as I graduated from college, I had no idea what I wanted to do with my life, because I thought I was going down one path to become a doctor, and then realized that that was not what I wanted at all. But then also was in such a rush to get out of college because I was hating the experience, that there was no plan in place, which is the story for, not the same story, but really the same story for a lot of first generation graduates, of like, I didn't build any capital around internships or, intentional opportunities when I was an undergraduate. So I came out of college really without any plan or direction. And I'm very thankful for an advisor of mine who connected me with some folks at the University of Wisconsin-Whitewater, where I was like, I think I want to do this higher education thing. And I was able to go there for graduate school and started working there. And then mentorship is what, again, led me through, almost 10 years there and then back to Milwaukee in the work that I'm doing now. But so much of the things I had to learn as I went. And when I look back, I'm like, and I've built student programs over the years specifically for that reason, like the things that that they need to engage with at every phase of their experience so that they can feel prepared for whatever their futures look like, whether that is through higher education, whether that is through the trades, whether that is through entrepreneurship, but like, how do we build those pieces to help you get to wherever you're going to go? So I feel like I had a challenging experience as a first generation student and graduate and professional, and navigating, that's a whole nother story, navigating my professional career and the things that I have had to learn along the way. And even returning to Milwaukee, I felt like I was starting over because I came to a city that I really hadn't worked in before. I had worked at Whitewater for so many years. There's a whole lot that I've had to learn and navigate in the politics and people and, so much. But I'm very grateful because I do think that those things have built character. It's built grit in me. And also it's like really empowered me and drives me to do what I do every day.
No, certainly. Oh my gosh. Wow. I'm hearing a lot of similarities in our paths and our stories. So that's incredible. I love that you're touching base on things like perseverance. Mm-hmm. And one thing that was difficult for me, especially in the beginning of my journey, was accepting help, like leaning on the resources that are meant to be there for you, reaching out and finding mentors, taking their advice. Taking advice is how you develop the grit and the determination to continue. That's how you learn the lessons. And someone telling you this is what you should be looking at doing, that's a gift. Feedback being a gift. So I love that you're touching base on how to build up that resilience. And it's through tough conversations. It's through, this didn't work for me. I thought I was going to go this way, had to make a quick pivot or else I would have made a really bad decision. And my life would be completely different. So accepting help, I feel like, is something that is difficult for first generation professionals because we're used to, I can do this on my own. I can be super self-sufficient, or I can figure out how to do this. I don't need help. But accepting the help is part of the journey because that's how you grow and improve and morph and evolve into the person that you're going to be.
Oh my gosh, yes. And let me just add one thing. Since you just said that, I thought about the fact. So when I was first, that advisor from UW-Madison connected me with UW-Whitewater. And I talked with my mentor today on the phone as he was trying to, recruit me to UW-Whitewater. I was like, I don't know. I had zero plan in life. And I got a call about coming to go to graduate school. And I said no on that first call. And I was like, I don't want to go to school. I need to go find a job, all these things. And he was like, oh, well, I guess I was, I got miscommunication or something. And then his boss, who is, may he rest, also a mentor of mine, called me back the same day and was like, if this is what you want to do, you want to go and do this work in higher education, you need to go to graduate school, you need to come visit us and just at least come visit us. And I was like, okay. And my mom's like, what else are you going to do? You don't have a job. What are you doing? Why wouldn't you go and see what's up? And I did. And the rest is literally history, right? Where, within honestly a month's time, less than a month, I was, accepted into graduate school, got an apartment, got a job on campus, and was able to start my journey from there. But I definitely said no. And thankfully, somebody, again, saw something in me or had heard something, because we had never met before, about me that was like, no, this is where you're supposed to be. And we got you. And that literally changed my life. It literally changed my life. And the mentor that I have today, Dr. McGregory, he always has told me, be open to everything. And I've never said no from that point. Any opportunity to learn, any thing that comes my way, I'm going to say yes, because that is how the doors have continued to open for me. So that is what I will offer to all of the other first generation professionals out there. You have to be open to everything, even if it doesn't sound or look right immediately. Don't be so quick to say no, and
Yes.
lean into that advice and support. Because yes, there are people who know a whole lot more than you do.
Yes. Oh my gosh, absolutely. So my next question was going to be, do you have any advice for our first generation membership? But we are putting a bow on that thought with
Ma'am.
lean on your mentors, say yes to things, explore, be open, get creative, make decisions, be decisive, and everything like that too. Like, what are maybe one or two other pieces that you have for our first generation mentorship members?
Oh man, that was my big one. For sure. The other thing I would offer is to remember. So two things: remember your why, and to remember that you belong, because it's so hard being in spaces that you are uncomfortable in, or again, we're not designed for you. And then you start to question everything. And you just have to remember, you have to get to the place where you can take up space. And like, even if you don't know all the things, you don't have to. And again, like you said, Molly, like that's okay. And that is why you do, build those mentors and those sponsors and advocates and allies around you, so that you can continue to grow and develop. But it's really hard. And we don't talk about enough what culture, environment, what spaces can do for you or do to you from a mental health perspective, from a confidence perspective, etc. So I just encourage folks to take up space, even when it's uncomfortable, to know that you are there for a reason, that you have purpose. And I'm always going to be an advocate for being yourself, right? And really being able to show up authentically in spaces. I can't say that it's easy. It's taken me, most of my career to get to a point where I feel like I can truly do that. But boy, it's quite liberating when you, when you show up as who you are and who you're supposed to be, and understand that you are the gift. Like, you bring value, you bring so much to the table. And if that table isn't for you, then believe me, there's going to be another one that is welcoming and that wants you to be there. And I think some of that is a mindset shift. Like, we deserve to be in these places.
Yeah, absolutely. Taking up space, especially as women, especially with girls working with young women. Like, take up space, ladies. We are the table. Like, take up space. Yeah.
I love that.
That's a great point to leave with our first generation professionals. So I have one more question for you, but Dr. Tardy, thank you so much for being with us and sharing more about yourself, about your journey, about Pearls and your work with Pearls. It is an incredible organization. I will close us out with one question that we love to ask all of our community leaders, and that's, what do you love about Milwaukee?
Oh, yes. So the first thing that comes to mind, it always comes to mind, is food. I am such a foodie. And I love, number one, I love summers in Milwaukee because you can be out on patios and having good food. But I find Milwaukee really does have so many different types of restaurants, cuisines. I feel like we're underrated. Like, we have quite a food scene here, and I'm loving to seeing all these different chef events and things that are highlighting our different restaurants in town, because we have some awesome restaurants. So I love that about our city. And I thought it was so cool that we were on Top Chef last year. Like, that was a big deal to feature Wisconsin. I learned a lot, honestly, about across Wisconsin, but also I know that there's so much more to Milwaukee that we didn't get to see. So that's what I'd love to, have a long running list of restaurants. I like to keep up with all the restaurants that are opening, and try different restaurants as much as possible.
Oh my gosh, me too. Well, that's part 3, is just us talking about food.
I love it.
Yeah, kids, stay tuned. Dr. Tardy, thank you so much for your time. How can our listeners, our viewers, so to say, how can they support Pearls, and then where can they connect with you?
Absolutely. Well, thank you again for having me today. This was awesome. You can find everything Pearls on our website, pearlsforteengirls.com. You can find information about the work that we do, volunteer opportunities, how you can give if you're interested in giving and supporting Pearls. But again, it's way more than giving of financial investment. We would love to have more folks volunteering and coaching with our girls, and with our team and supporting the work that we do. And then you can always find me on LinkedIn, Tiffany Tardy. I'm probably the only Tiffany Tardy on there. But yeah, you can reach out to me anytime. I'm always looking for ways to collaborate, partner, support the work in Milwaukee. So if there are ways that we can connect and continue to do this work in the community, I am all for it.
Amazing. Well, thank you so much for your time. And this interview will go live on Friday. So thank you so much.
Thank you.